Greetings, this is the Timeshare Traveler. Today is episode 215. My RV gets 48 miles per gallon. Well, obviously that's a joke. I actually have timeshares and I have a hybrid. So anyway, what I'm going to talk about today is I just want to go through basics of a simple RV versus timeshare purchase scenario, just to give you some background on that. And then the next thing I'm going to talk about is timeshares are consolidating, companies are buying other companies, and that's affecting travel. And this is to your advantage, I believe. And then I'm going to go through some other additional industry trends, both the travel industry. And then lastly, owning a hybrid electric vehicle and how that affects having timeshare travel. Anyway, before I go into that detail, I want to tell you a little bit about my channel. I'll be back in about 28 seconds. Hi, this is Cliff, and I'm the Timeshare Traveler. Welcome to my channel. The purpose of my channel is to educate those who love traveling in timeshares. I've been an owner for 15 plus years at timeshare ownership. I have elite ownership with Marriott, Hilton, and Worldmark. I have published over 100 timeshare video reviews, and I've published over 95 timeshare tips. I can be found on Facebook at Timeshare Trav, at Twitter, Timeshare Trav, and on the web at www.timesharetraveler.com. Well, I'm back. And the first thing I wanted to say, and it's a general thing I want to say, I will say it over and over. Owning a hybrid with timeshares makes timeshares more competitive with RVs. Again, not choose what's right for you. For me, timeshares was right for me. So let me talk about the cost. And again, I looked at an RV versus, I needed a bus to compare it to the one bedroom timeshare just from a size perspective. And the cost for those is easily $400K and typically $600K. And the way I was thinking is I have fairly good genetics, so there's a good chance I'd live beyond 10 years in retirement. And so what I thought about is that actually using, like I use my timeshares, which I currently live in full time, then I probably have to buy a second one. And if you're younger and using RV, then you're probably going to have to buy two. And so two buses is now $800,000. And again, I'm being very conservative. And then with the $800,000, I've spent less than half of that, and I can live full time in timeshares, so year round. So that felt like a better deal for me, and it still feels like a better deal. And in fact, even more so as I'm talking about it. But again, I've gotten better, and people that know RVs well can be extremely happy too. So again, not a knock on RVs, it just works for me, and I think it would work for you. So my preference for repairs, when I think about what can go wrong, is I want to dial zero and say, come fix the refrigerator, not have to figure out, be the mechanic myself. And there's pluses and minuses for that. It's just my preference. And I believe RV maintenance fees are more than timeshare maintenance fees if you're doing significant travel. I think there's just wear and tear on the vehicle. Changing oil is extremely expensive, and obviously the gas price difference. And here was the kicker for me. I actually like going to Hawaii, and I like traveling internationally, and you really can't take your RV. So my style fits with the timeshare. The RV really, if you live in the US, you're really driven Canada to Mexico. Maybe you can go a little further, but most people, when I look, seem to be stuck there. So that to me swung the total: less money, less maintenance fees, and the fact that I can go to Hawaii and Europe and Asia and so forth and use my timeshares. My next topic is how timeshare consolidation is affecting travel. And again, owning a hybrid and timeshares makes timeshare more competitive with RVs than having a traditional gas vehicle. Hilton, Marriott, and Club Wyndham have all bought other timeshare companies in the last 5 years. And many timeshare companies have locations across the U.S. In fact, I've driven from San Francisco area all the way to Indiana for my high school reunion, and I went to my college reunion as well. And so I can do it, and I was able to, drive no longer than 8 hours. Driving, in fact, I had a friend who had an RV and didn't want to do it because it was too expensive to drive back to the same high school reunion. It allows for driving vacations similar to RVs because now that with the consolidation, it really has changed things. There's a lot of places in the middle of the US that you can actually drive across the country. So I'm finding that all of a sudden I effectively, and that's why I make the joke about my RV gets 48 miles a gallon, because I can effectively act like I have an RV and stay in timeshares across the continental US. And Hilton Club Wyndham are leading the way with the Blue Green Purchase and the Diamond International. Hilton now has quite a lot of properties for you to go to, and Club Wyndham has, with Worldmark and Club Wyndham, has quite a few places. And then there's sort of, I call them the filler, and I'm, again, because I do a lot of presentations, I end up with a lot of hotel points. And I use the hotels to stay in hotels with kitchens. So I call that timeshare light. So you can really fill in that, and have sort of the timeshare more luxurious, have a separate bedroom, all the things that you typically get with timeshares. It feels more like being at home. So that's what I think is really, the consolidation is even making it more so competitive that if you own timeshares. Again, RVs are fine. I'm not trying to knock that. I'm just saying that's not the only option. That's all I'm saying. Talk about other industry trends. Again, owning a hybrid and timeshare makes timeshare more competitive with RVs. RV camping sites, I've been looking at some of the prices, and again, I mean, they can be, $75 to $100 a night, and again, that's probably an extreme example. And I'm finding my timeshare maintenance is going up between 4 and 6% a year, which is quite a bit below what hotels. And it seems to be because of, a lot more RV sales recently because of the work remote. It seems like the RV parking hasn't caught up. And I like the grounds around timeshares more than the RV parkings. Just to give you a flavor, for $120 a night, if I go to Hawaii off peak, it's about $120 a night. And when I compare that to $100 potentially in a very nice RV park, I'm already at $20 a night. If I had to pay for gas and everything, it just feels like, and the cost of the RV itself, that $20 a night. And again, that's probably an unfair comparison because I'm being off peak and so forth. But it's just to give you at least a possibility, whether I'm being fair or not. I don't want you can do your own research. And the popular RV parks like I say, are similar in price, and the increase in usage has driven up cost, and actually I'm hearing about availability. In fact, that was one of the reasons my friend couldn't go back to the high school reunion, because all the good places were taken up by the time she was thinking about doing it. Some of the RV locations are starting to add some of the pools, which drives up the cost, but it gives obviously better amenities. And again, the one thing that was a surprise was the popular sites actually fill up very quickly, and so you end up in maybe even worse situation than you do with the highly sought after timeshare locations. And the last thing I want to do is just talk about the hybrid. Owning a hybrid and make timeshares, again, repeating myself, makes more competitive with RVs. Hybrid car can typically get between 45 and 50 miles per gallon. And this reduces the advantage of having an RV for driving vacations, in my opinion, because a lot of that cost for just the gas can offset so much of the cost. And the cost of maintenance of the vehicles and the gas continues to increase for all motor vehicles. So the impact of having hybrid is that increase is a smaller percentage overall. And the other thing I wanted to throw out is probably in the last couple of years, we used to thinking of the Prius or the small cars as being the only hybrids, but now the SUVs hybrids, and they maybe be a little lower in the 40 to 45 miles per gallon, but all of a sudden the advantage, which I love about the RVs, which you have more space, you can take more of your life with you. If you have an SUV, now you're kind of the best of both worlds. You can carry more stuff. And again, another thing about the hybrids, they tend to have a longer driving range than a traditional gasoline. Just the weight of gas means you're only going to make the tank so big, but when the weight of batteries doesn't seem to be the same limitation. So anyway, that's what's kind of happening even though my joke about the 48 miles a gallon, but really it's all about hybrids and the cost of having the ability to drive around. So anyway, I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe.